can imagine, I've spent the last few days pretty humbled about the fact that I recognize that my responsibility tonight is great. I want to help you understand some of the protocols, some of the things that we are going to be addressing tonight so that everything is as clear as it can be. Now, please be patient with me. I am a preschool teacher, so I tend to make things fairly simplistic. If it's too simple, then just bear with me. The first thing I want to do, though, before we start is I really appreciate you all being here. And some of you might think, well, she's crazy. But the bottom line is this is my 6th year on the board, and what we always want is participation from our community and our students. And this is a great example of you wanting to participate in your school. I appreciate that. This is a great community, and each of you bring to the community something special that nobody else could do. Now, I know in lots of areas in the valley they think that Florence is a stepchild. Missoula doesn't really want to claim us, and the valley doesn't really want to claim us, but hey, we know where the very best place in the Bitterroot is, and that's here. And it's that way because of people like you. Thank you very much. Now, please understand the protocol that I'm going to explain. It's my responsibility as the chairman of the board to make sure that the environment that this board functions in is one that can be cohesive so that we can go about the business of doing the business of the school. There are lots of students here. I'm thankful that you're here. I appreciate that. And as adults, I always tell my own children, you have to look for teaching moments. This is a teaching moment. You students, you're finding out what democracy is all about, being involved in those things that you feel passionate about. We're glad you're here, and we want this to be a positive experience for you. Understanding that as adults, we too watch reality TV. But I'm pleading with you tonight not to make this a reality TV board meeting. I want this to be a board meeting that we as board members can listen to those pleas, those facts, those things that you are bringing to us so that we can make an educated decision. And we can't do that if, in fact, this ends up to be reality TV. So, as your chairman of this board, I'm asking all of you, students and adults, to conduct yourself in a respectful manner. And I think if we do that, then we are going to have success at the end of this board meeting. Now, I want to make you aware of something. This year, this board has been involved in 3 4-hour workshops that have been conducted by the Montana School Boards Association that have been on knowledge-based governance. And I want to just read you one paragraph, and then from that, hopefully you'll understand why it's very important that this meeting be conducted so that this process can happen. A successful board must have a commitment to institutionalize a culture of inquiry that requires the board demand that decisions be based on data, knowledge, and fact. The board should be prepared to question assumptions, challenge conclusions, and identify and acknowledge the ethical implications of decisions made. Now, in order for that last sentence that I just read you to happen tonight, I'm asking that you will let us do that. Understand that a school board meeting is a public meeting, but that it's public in the fact that we are conducting a meeting and we have invited you to our meeting. There will be times that you will be given an opportunity to give us facts and information and let us know how you feel. There are times when we will need to conduct the meeting as such. And I'm going to explain exactly what that protocol is so that you will understand it. So for students, if you've never been to a school board meeting before, this is how it's going to go. We have an agenda that's put out before every board meeting, and that is posted 48 hours ahead of time. And it'll be posted in many various areas in the community. It's also on the website, so forth. That is a legal responsibility that we have to provide. Now, on the agenda, there are some items, and I'm going to go over those line by line so that you understand what it is that we're doing. We just had the call of order and the Pledge of Allegiance, and now I'm making comments to you. After that, there is a section of the board meeting called public comment. Now, this is designed in a board meeting so that if you have an issue that you want to present to the board, and then listen to these next three things, that is not of a personal nature or already on the agenda, we would love to hear that issue. Now you're going to say, well, what's on the agenda? I'm going to tell you exactly what's on the agenda. It's all under personnel. The first thing that's listed on our agenda is this: to rescind previous board decision not to extend activities director contract and to open position. That's the first thing that's going to be. Now, whenever a motion is put forth to the board, it comes as a motion. You say, well, where does a motion come from? One of the trustees will extend that motion. Then it has to be seconded by another trustee. After that, we open it for discussion. Now, I'm asking tonight that you would let the board, if they have discussion about whatever that particular item is, that you let us discuss. Now, we have microphones here so that you can hear the discussion. After we've had that discussion, we are going to open this mic here in the middle for you to come and share. If you have some facts or some feelings about the situation, about the issue, you can come then. That's when your time for us to hear you. Now, that's going to be the same protocol through each item on the agenda. The first one, as I just stated, was to rescind the board decision not to extend activities director contract to open position. Basically, what we're trying to do, if we have a motion and a second and a positive vote on that, then we're back to square one. Then we're moving on to our extracurricular contracts. The first one is to recommend to hire our head boys basketball coach, and that recommendation is Sam Baerlocher. The second one, if the rescission is accepted, will be to hire an activities director, and that recommendation is Sam Baerlocher. The third one is to hire an assistant boys, hire 2 assistant boys basketball coaches. That would be Tom Demmons and Jason Thompson. The fourth item on the agenda tonight are assistant football coaches, and those would be Connor Black, Jason Thompson, and Ken Little. Now, after each one of those agenda items, there will be a motion, there will be a second, there will be time for discussion. At the end of discussion, then what comes next is that there will be a trustee that will call for the question, which basically tells all of us that we're going to vote. The discussion is over, we're going to vote. And then I will ask for the vote on that. Now, there's one other thing here. Yep, we're going to get to that. When you come to the mic during the discussion period of whatever the item is, this is what it's going to be. This is what we're asking of you. That you first of all state your name. That you tell us if you live in the district or out. That we're going to have a time limit. As you can see, there are a lot of individuals here. And please understand, we want to hear from as many as we can, but we also understand that at some point we are going to have to call for the other discussion. So that's why we're setting a time limit of 3 minutes. At 2.5 minutes, my timer's going to go off. I will let you know that you've got 30 seconds left. And at the end of that 3 minutes, please end your remarks, and sit down so that the next individual will have the opportunity to come and speak. This way we feel we can get more individuals. If indeed they want to present themselves, we'll have the opportunity to do that. Okay, now we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. When you are giving us your comments, sharing, now remember what I said about the fact that the board, we are trying to gather facts and make an unbiased opinion, and we can't do that if the facts that we're giving are of a personal nature to the point that there is abusive language used, there is attack, on that individual, demeaning. We're talking about an issue here, not an individual trustee. We're talking about the issue of rehiring our coaches. If in fact you use that language or your attitude is defensive or demeaning to an individual, I will have to gather you. This is my friend tonight. In more ways than one. Now I don't like to gavel. It sounds kind of like a silly thing, but if I gavel you, that is my right legally to tell you that you are down and you have to sit down. So, please understand, I don't want to use this, but I will use it if I need to. And with that, yes. Oh yeah, thank you, Kevin. I know we're a cell phone generation. I would ask you right now if you would turn your cell phones on or put them on vibrate or mute or whatever that fun function. Did I say on? I'm sorry. Turn them off, please.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready? Okay, I very much appreciate the way you handled yourself so far, and I expect that it will continue. All right, we're going to go on to the next part of our meeting, which is public comment. And now I'm going to tell you the same thing I just told you. If there's anyone who has an issue that is not on the agenda or of a personal nature, you are invited to come to the mic, tell us who you are and what your issue is. Okay.
I'm Sam Collins, and I represent the Florence Carlton classified staff members. The Florence Carlton classified staff members would like to extend our continued support to the administrative staff of our school district. The administrative staff, to be specific, our 3 principals, district manager, and superintendent, were hired because of their passion, experience, and knowledge in the educational field. We have trusted our administration to determine the future of our children, and they have gone above and beyond to provide this service to the Florence community. The secretaries, teachers' assistants, playground supervisors, copy room staff, and kitchen staff support the recommendations and decisions that are made on a daily basis by our principals and our superintendent. First of all, we would like to thank them for their years of service, commitment, and tireless hours to the educational field. With their advanced education and multiple years of experience in our community, we believe that our students and district have a bright future. Secondly, we know that this job is not just a job. It is a passion that all of you feel because your children are also a part of our community. It is a place where you have chosen to raise your families. We thank you for this. You have embraced our community, and we also feel that this community has embraced you as one of our own. You are a part of what makes us so proud of being the Florence Carlton community. Thank you to everyone here tonight for showing your support of our school, and most importantly, the future of our community. We feel honored to be part of this family. This is signed unanimously by the Florence Carlton classified union staff. easy for me to do because my history goes deep here. I have grown up in Florence since I was 3 years old, and I've watched this community just grow in strides. And what I have to say may create some enemy lines, but I think that's already happened this past week with everything that's come forward. I said this Friday night to the public who was here. There are twice as many people here now. You need to know this. When it comes time to elect Vicki and Dorothy, you need to elect them in together. If you do not, Vicki will lose the chairman position. Kevin O'Brien will become the chairman. It is my opinion that there are some board members who are not serving what the school wants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our teachers union. Dear Board of Trustees, the Florence Carlton Education Association, the group representing the teachers of our district, has passed a vote of confidence in support of the administration, inclusive of the superintendent and the principals of Florence Carlton School District. The FCEA would like to appeal to you, the trustees, to sincerely consider all recommendations made by the administration, as they are made with considerable thought, extensive expertise, and deep consideration for the well-being of the students of Florence Carlton School District. We look to our administration for guidance, stability, and strength. We are confident in their ability to provide all three. The FCEA fully supports our principals and our superintendent in their efforts to provide a quality education for our children. Thank you. The Florence Carlton Education Association.
My name is Sean Moss, and I've been a member of the community here for 17 years. My children have attended Florence Carlton schools, and my wife has been the elementary school secretary for the past 15 years. My original comments were to include my personal experiences about Sam Baerlocher, but due to the outpouring of support and countless positive comments that were shared last Friday, I've chosen to direct my comments and questions to the board members that have brought us here. First, to Jim Shreve. Jim, you and I spoke by telephone last Wednesday evening. You informed me that you voted in error in the non-renewing of Sam's head boys basketball contract. You stated that if given the opportunity, you would vote in favor of renewing Sam's contract. I'm asking you to keep your word. Second, to Rick Harris. Rick, you were quoted on Friday afternoon as saying, "This is America. This is a great country."
Please understand, booze are not acceptable. That's not respectful. Mr. Moss, this could be shared during that agenda item, if you were in fact talking
What
about.
agenda item would that be?
That
I haven't addressed that.
it could be either.
Okay, ask a question as to what needs to be
Okay.
what is it?
What's the intent of your question, Mr. Moss?
I would like to provide clarification on some comments that were made to the press.
Okay.
I would also like to clarify what the school board members' responsibilities are as stated by state law.
All right, and okay, I apologize for this. This is my mistake. One thing about public comment is that we are not allowed to comment in public comment because it's not on the agenda. It's not an agenda item, and I apologize, Mr. Moss, for that. But if you have those questions, they can be readdressed during the discussion part of that part of our agenda.
I don't believe there is any portion of the meeting agenda.
Then, Mr. Moss, what we can do is that you can state your issue, but you are not going to be able to get a response because...
I'm not asking for a response.
All right.
Can I continue?
If it's of a personal nature, allowed to stop.
If it's of a personal nature.
It is not a personal nature. It is regard to the comments that were made publicly by a public official that we as constituents here believe that we have the opportunity to actually clarify these comments.
But it can't be clarified in response for a public comment.
The problem with that, sir, is that there can't be any response to what the question is. So if you can present the question without requiring a response, then that would be okay. If you're asking for a response, there can't be a response. It's a public comment.
So what you're saying, because I can't provide a statement, you're saying I have to ask a question?
You can provide a statement.
That's what I'm attempting to do.
Mr. Ross,
The gavel.
what could I advise you that if you could proceed without it being of a personal nature?
It hasn't been yet, Vicki, and I don't intend it to be.
Well, if you use their names, it is of a personal nature.
Okay, I will go ahead and take care of that right
Thank
now.
you very much.
Thank you. Second, to a particular board member. Who was quoted on Friday afternoon saying, "This is America. This is a great country. It's not Iran. It's not China or Iraq. The democratic process is proving itself." To that particular board member, let me clarify what the definition of democracy is as provided by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. A democracy is a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation. From your actions last Tuesday, I believe that you acted as a dictatorship, which is defined by the same source as a form of government in which absolute power is concentrated in a dictator or a small clique. Your responsibility as board members is defined by Montana State Statute 2-3-201, which states that public boards in this state exist to aid in the conduct of the people's business. It is the intent of this part that actions and deliberations of all public agencies shall be conducted openly. The people of the state do not wish to relinquish their controlling influence to the agencies which serve them. Hopefully this information clarifies what your duties as a trustee actually entail. In closing, many of us here this evening are wondering who will be your next victim. Will we have to gather as a community again next year to combat actions by this board? By the outpouring of support this evening, I believe it is apparent that your constituents do not approve of the gunslinging, vindictive, and vigilante type behavior of several board members that are present. This community is telling you that we will no longer tolerate members of this board not following proper procedure, not taking administration recommendations into account when making hiring decisions, and most importantly, implementing your personal agendas, which have a negative impact on our children. I would suggest that Mr. Baerlocher be given multiple year contracts to show the board's good faith. We're reinstating him this evening.
The difference between this meeting tonight and the meeting on Friday night is that this is not a rally. Please understand, I understand your passion and your excitement, but it is not a rally. It is not, so we need to conduct ourselves as such. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Ward Wentholz, and I have prayed for a miracle. And my church has prayed for a miracle, and I know that my God delivers miracles. I believe in this school. This school has produced doctors. It's produced students who have gone to the Air Force Academy. And most recently this year has produced a student that's received a naval nuclear engineering opening with the Navy. That speaks volumes about what our teachers do, and our administrators, and our school board. I also believe in my children, Kyle and Shelley. And I have a story that I want to share with you that I heard a long time ago. It's called the story of the yardstick. There's two ends to the yardstick.
Mr. Weinholz?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to stop for 1 minute. Now, does this have a pertinence towards?
Yes, it does. It has a suggestion on how we can handle this problem as a community.
Thank you.
Yes. On one end of this yardstick is the problem solver. He does 5 things, or she. The first thing he does is he defines the problem. And I would ask the entire community, including the board, to think about this process. The definition of it is done openly. Secondly, they gather all the people that they can that are willing to help to solve the problem. The third thing they do is they focus on solutions, as many as they possibly can. When they refine those, they then take action. Once they've taken action, they track and they change if the results need to be changed. If we were to follow this approach as a community, we could spend 2 hours talking about the real problems that we have, and we could build massive public support for our school. We have that opportunity to do that. I am not going to talk about the other end of the yardstick, because we all know what that is. All it does is make the problems bigger. We're in a position right now as a community to make a miracle happen simply by 3 men, 2 men, and 1 man saying we will change our mind and we will solve our problems from this point forward. May our futures be as bright as our suns.
Any other public comment at this time?
Good evening. My name is Laura Kester. My son Jacob has been in this school since kindergarten. He's now in 2nd grade. He has enjoyed a wonderful opportunity here in Florence. All the teachers, all the coaches. He loves this school. And I hope I am speaking for the children that are here tonight. A lot of them missed practice or were taken away from practices early, track and baseball, to come here tonight to see what democracy is all about. And for my son, this is his first time. And I would hope that everybody that does come up here, this is a democracy. I do not feel that rallying is a bad thing. We are here trying to show support, and rallying is to show support. However, if you're against a rally, I don't understand that. A rally is to get out with your laws and rally with your issues. It's not a heated debate. I haven't heard anybody. The clapping, is that not loud? Is that what you're saying a rally is? You can't answer that. Okay, I understand. That's fine. But I do want to thank everybody, especially the children, everybody here. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Good evening. My name is Tim Roscoe. I'm not a member of the school district, as probably a lot of you know. I come here as a friend, not a foe, and I certainly come here in support of Sam Baerlocher. I've known him since he was a freshman in high school. I coached him, taught him, worked with him, competed with him, competed against him. And in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I don't believe that they come any better than he is. And in addition to that, I would hope that this board, representing the constituents of this community, would certainly cast a vote in support of the support that the people that have put you on the board certainly would expect you to do. And I say that in all due respect. I've been through a lot of board meetings. I was activities director at Princeton High School for 24 years. I've been through a lot of these board meetings, and I know how imperative it is to have the support of your board. And certainly when your administration and your staff and your community supports that, I would hope that the vote of the board tonight would reflect that. In addition, I'd like to make one clarification. There is a member of your board that did call me a while back. I don't know, I can't remember exactly what day it was. And he simply indicated to me that my name had come up at a board meeting. And I said, please share with me what the importance of that is. And he indicated that it was mentioned at the board meeting that I had applied for the position of head football coach out here, but then I withdrew my application. I indicated to that board member that I did not apply. I did not withdraw an application because I never submitted one. But I am honored to say that your activities director, in support of his superintendent, called me several times. Matter of fact, Sam and I had several discussions, lengthy discussions, about me applying for that position. And to be very honest with you, I was honored that he, the administration, or even this community would consider that. And as our conversation continued, I indicated to that board member that I did have 3 conversations with Sam. And I pondered that, applying for that position as heavily as I've considered anything since I retired out of Princeton. And I have had numerous opportunities to get back into coaching. But because of other professional pursuits, family, etc., the time just simply has not been right. But in lieu of that, because of some of the people that you have working out here that I know, and certainly Sam is leading the way in that, I gave it every possible consideration that I could. And I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that I want it understood by the board that if you want to consider that an interview, I would certainly probably support that. But I want you to know that I did not apply. But certainly we had some extensive conversations about applying for the position, and I want you to know that I'm honored that he would have taken the time, the administration and the board, for those board members that supported that, who would have extended that to me. So I will leave the microphone here in just a minute, but before I do, I would hope that everybody, I think that the people in this room are testimony to all of the interest and sincere concern that Sam, his family, those people that serve on the coaching staff, the administration, the other people in this community that support his primary interest, and that is, the well-being of the students in this school district. And I know that because I've seen it. And you don't have to be on the inside to be a witness to that. And certainly it's even more, I think it's probably even easier to evaluate being on the outside. And so I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. If you have any questions of me about that situation, I'd be more than happy to answer those. That's been brought to my attention by 3 different people out of your community. So I trust that it must have been an issue at some point with somebody. And I thought that I certainly owe that to Sam to come out and make a clarification on that. And the bottom line is I wanted him to know and all of you to know that I support him with all my heart. Thank you.
chairperson, I am a little confused.
So would you tell us, state your name for us, please?
Yes, it's Dr. Randy Bolton, and I am a director of the Creative Pulse, a graduate program in integrated arts and education for teachers at the University of Montana. We don't deal with sports, but we do in a little bit of a way. And I have a 13-year-old son in the district. And my confusion is this the time to address public comment for the athletic director?
No, it's not, sir.
But we just did.
Well, he addressed another issue that didn't really have to do with the activities director, but it did have to do with an incident that took place earlier in a board meeting.
And so you would like for me to wait?
If you would, I would appreciate that.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
My name is Leo Hanson. I'm a current and lifetime resident of the area. I've been asked to read something.
Okay.
It's actually not to you. It's to the people. We're always concerned about the taxpayers. Well, the taxpayers are here. We don't need to make decisions that don't adversely affect our kids. And one is by voting and passing mill levies to support our teachers, our school, and most importantly, our kids. I came up here to say something about Sam, but Tim's a tough act to follow. What I said would have been just about the same thing.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
Do you have, I mean, what is the context of what you're trying to say? Is that...
Vote for the mill levy.
Okay. Is that what... If you do have, testimony about Sam and that can be handled when we get to that motion.
I'll shut up about that. I'm asking you as a community to step up, vote for the mill levy, pass it. These issues won't come up. This is the wrong way. They've done us a favor. They brought an issue to light that is huge. Nobody votes for these mill levies. They let them pass. They just let them go away. Think they'll go away. Well, the mill levies directly affect our kids. That's the way we can show support. I'm told, I've never figured it out myself, but for an average household, it's $60 to $100 a year. Are our kids worth that? It's good to see this much support for any one individual. He has a lot of integrity, and I believe in him wholeheartedly.
My name is Josh Lazovich, and I am not a part of your district. I'm a teacher and coach at Missoula Big Sky High School. And I want to address the decision-making process by the board, and I want you just to recognize something. The repercussions of making decisions that go against your superintendent and your principal are far-reaching, and hopefully we recognize this, not only in Missoula, but I've talked to people across the state. I don't think that you want to have those repercussions and set a precedent and have a reputation of basically going against recommendations of the people that have been hired to evaluate the teachers and coaches and educators at your school. I've had students at the university ask me about this, and I said, if decisions are made that way on a school board, and the school board micromanages what the superintendent and what the principal have been hired to do, I wouldn't recommend going to a school like that. And the repercussions are you will lose many, many valuable educators, coaches, in your This is not just directly related to Sam Baerlocher, but obviously that's the question at hand. You need to recognize this for every coach, or you will gain that reputation, and you will lose those valued educators and coaches. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Whitney Shaw. I didn't come here to use a lot of big words, or I want to make it simple. I've known the Baerlocher family since I was very little.
Whitney, if you're going to address Mr. Baerlocher and your support of that, it probably would be best if you waited until we got to the particular part of the agenda where we're going to address that. If you could just hold that thought, if that's the venue.
So I'll just do this later.
Yes, I think that's what I'm saying. So if you could just hold that till we get to that part of the agenda. Unless you have something else besides speaking in support of Mr. Baerlocher.
No, I'll get back later.
Please.
I'll do that. I love you, Steve.
All right. Unless we have any other public comment, we're going to move on in our agenda. And the next part of our agenda is moving to personnel. And Mr. Lee, would you like to go from here?
All right. Okay. At a previous board meeting, the board voted not to extend a contract to the activity director to open the position. Vicki Cornish has requested that the board entertain her motion to rescind that decision. A motion to rescind may be made by any member of the board and has the effect of stopping the action authorized by the original vote. If the motion to rescind is passed, the matter of this extracurricular contract is put back to where it was prior to the original vote that had been taken. If the motion to rescind passes, Agenda 3B2 would be considered. If the motion fails, that item, 3B2, would not be considered. So at this time, it is my strong recommendation to the board to give serious consideration to rescinding its prior action due to the fact that it is my belief as your superintendent that it would be very difficult at this time, at this stage of the year, to plan on who would be our next activity director. And there are many critical points that come up at this time of the year. We have summer basketball camps that need to be organized, and the activity director is very vital to that. We have getting organized for next year's fall sports, and the reality is it is a large job, and we do not really pay this job handsomely. There is a lot of time and commitment that is given to it of your personal time. And I see that in the past year, Mr. Baerlocher has done a very good job for the school district, and he has my full confidence and support to continue doing so. So with that, it is my recommendation the board give serious consideration to Mrs. Cornish's motion to rescind.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
Madam Chairman? Before I propose this, I want you to know that my husband and I both graduated from Florence. Our 4 kids graduated from here. One of them ended up being a college professor. The one that was killed in an accident, we have a music scholarship set up for. So you know that I care about the school I care about the kids. And I worked here 25 years. I've been on the board 6. And I've known Sam Baerlocher as a parent, an employee, and now as a trustee. And it's my pleasure to propose the following motion. Rescind previous board decision not to extend activities director contract into open position.
Do I have a second?
I will second the motion.
Okay. With that, we have discussion. I'm going to open that to the board. Yes, this is...
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I commend the public for standing up and voicing their opinions on the way the school board vote. It saddens me, however, that not many of you were there last Tuesday to vote your comments before the vote took place. You all received notices of the agenda, time and place of these meetings, and would love, and I want to stress this, would love to welcome you at all these meetings and voice your concerns and opinions. The trustees of this board were elected by each and every one of you, except for the minors. But we cannot do our job correctly without input from you. I have always based my decisions not on my personal point of view, but you on the community. I'm a person that always listens, and you know that. And I do have an agenda, and I'm going to admit it openly right here. It's what's best for the students, this staff, and the community. We are all intricately entwined. I've spent hours on the phone last week and emails with many of you. How's 368 emails and phone calls? And I think I've answered everybody, and I've spoken to everybody as honestly and openly as I could. I also had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Baerlocher twice today, and Mr. McGee extensively regarding this last vote. I was also unfortunately forced to speak to the Montana School Board Association legal counsel with the escalation of events to make sure that we would be following proper procedures. Again, much of this could have been avoided had participation in Tuesday's board meeting, as last Tuesday's, been more appropriate and better timed. Please, as a community, let us avoid the chaos in the future. And let me hear, and let us hear from each and every one of you before the next vote. We are currently coming up on many issues that we will be facing. Let's face them as a community. Thank you.
I would just like to say that I am supportive of rescinding this. I was in support of Mr. Baerlocher and choosing I think the question is we need to move forward as a board and decide that we need to go back to square one and think about this again with the input that we have here tonight. So I am calling for the question. All those in favor of rescinding? Oh, I apologize. I so apologize. Understand, if there's any discussion, please come forward. Okay. Now, Mr. Bolton, I am going to start the time these now.
That's fine.
And that's fine. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. I want to thank the students and the way that they have come together to support this educators and coaches dealings and skills development. I have a letter that I will read, and I hope it will fall within 3 minutes. And I have also lost 25 pounds of hair since Friday night's meeting for this occasion. In honor of Mr. Sam Baerlocher, dear Board of Education, and I delivered this letter to the board. How did this happen to Sam Baerlocher? Our Florence community is up in arms.
about this travesty. Why no public proceedings to process how you, the board, arrived at this decision? Sam Baerlocher has been an outstanding educator, coach, and mentor to many, many years of grades 1 through 12 students in this community. He has initiated and sustained programs for all levels. He is a consummate educator. He is holistic in the way he approaches his numerous teams and his classes. He is healthy physically and psychologically, and that is what he teaches: a healthy, positive, and holistic approach to competition and life. My son was a first grader when he started working in Sam's basketball camps. He gained social, physical, and problem-solving skills in that first attempt and forward for the next 7 years or more. This, however, is not exactly all about Sam Baerlocher. It is about all of our teachers in the Florence Carlton schools. How do you imagine they are all feeling and thinking about their jobs and commitments to their parents and students? I can tell you, they are all worried about this quick, publicly unprocessed decision. They all want to know where the hammer will fall next and why. They were all wondering about this long before this debacle happened.
Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Paris, and Mr. Shreve, would you please let us have our miracle?
Madam Chair, my name is John Cornish. I know the reason that you got on the school board, each and every one of you, and at least I hope it would be to better our school. I think I know you that well. The best our school can be is when the board members, the administrators, the staff, the students, and the community work together. What's the largest impact on our students that make the best schools? Well, I've considered that for many years now. What makes our school best here? We have a good school at Florence. Well, in 35 years, as I mentioned the other night, I've seen 27 administrators in 35 years. They're not here. The ones we have now, as the teachers have said, we've got a good set, and I hope we can keep them. Well, that 27's gone. I've seen over 60 board members come and go. Now, some of them have been pretty good, but they're still gone. But in that 35 years of being here, teachers like Mr. Janego, Mrs. Horsens, Mr. Carlson, Mr. Kuchel, Eleanor McCullough, and of course our own Sam Baerlocher, they're still here. That's what make no mistake, we're not perfect people, and neither are you. We all make mistakes, and I told my kids this, I tell my students this, and I tell my teams that. We all make mistakes. It's not that you're not going to, it's how you make up or how you take care of your mistakes that count. And I hope that we take care of this mistake tonight. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Randy Seuss. Mr. Bolton said that he lost 25 pounds of hair. I just want to say I've been like this for quite some time. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to start off by saying how much I appreciate Sam Baerlocher. He's a great teacher, a wonderful coach, a wonderful role model, not only my two kids, but many others. I believe he should be rehired for both the AD and the head boys basketball position. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the decision-making process that got us to this point. When I heard that the 3 board members, which we'll call X, Y, and Z, had voted to not renew the contracts, my exact words were, what in the world are they thinking? My wife will attest to the fact that I am an open-minded person. I always want to hear both sides of the story before making any decision. So I called the 3 of you on the phone so I could ask the following question. What information did you base your decision on? Well, Jimmy and Kevin was pretty bum on reasons and basically stated that there was a closed meeting and some info came out of that meeting that influenced their decision. Both explained that due to confidentiality laws, they could not discuss what was said in the meeting. They also said it was a business decision which they could or would not elaborate on. Let me talk about their responses before I move on to Rick's comments. After talking with Sam later that night,
You need to refer to the board members in general, not specifically.
sorry, I crossed out the ones up ahead. After talking with Sam later that night, I discovered that he was not at the meeting, therefore nothing in that meeting pertained to Sam. So how can you state that the information influenced your decision? I think instead of answering honestly, you're trying to use this closed meeting as a way of avoiding accountability. So again, I ask you, what did you base your decision on? When I asked one of the other board members his reasoning, he did mention the closed meeting, but very briefly. His main reason was he felt there was too much money spent on athletics and not enough on extracurricular education, like science Olympics. I asked him if he was suggesting cutting the boys' basketball program. He stated, no programs will be cut. Let me talk about those comments. If the boys' basketball program is not going to be cut, then you will still need a head coach. So why hire someone else when Sam had the recommendation of the superintendent? And also, why did you vote to renew other contracts for other sports coaches, but not Sam?
30 seconds.
In my opinion, the 3 of you not only made a bad decision, but you compounded the problem by not being honest with people. Let me finish by saying this. One thing I lecture my kids about is the fact that when you have a decision to make, get all the info that you can and try to make a good decision. But we all know there are times when we do not make good decisions. The great thing about life are the second chances we get. Everyone has the opportunity to realize they make a bad decision, admit it to the appropriate people, and then correct that decision. Set a good example for the kids and adults of this community, and vote yes to renew the contract with Sam Baerlocher.